I'm Keri.
I'm Chris.
And we're going to share a beginner's class for people who are tight. Class is called Uptight is All Right.
Yes, I agree.
So we hope you can see us. We have chairs because I know that some people have a hard time getting down on the floor. If you practice with me for the next 30 days, I pretty much guarantee you'll be able to get down and up from the floor, no problem. But we have chairs, so just in case you can't get down on the floor, that's why we have the chairs. We'll also show modifications. This is Ivy, and Kona's here too somewhere. We'll also show you guys modifications for the poses if it feels like they're too difficult. So it's super important that if you haven't practiced before, if you haven't been stretching or practicing yoga, and even if you're really healthy, you want to make sure that you start slow. You don't stretch to your 100% stretch mom. She'll try. You just stretch, we just take it easy. We want to feel our body respond to the movements we're going to make. So we're going to go ahead and begin. I'm going to have Chris come down on the yoga mat. On your hands and knees, Chris. Go ahead and come down onto the yoga mat.
I have my socks on.
Oh, you got to take your socks off. It's a rule.
Shoot.
Sorry about that technical flaw. We forgot to take our socks off. Good job. Okay. So Chris is going to come down on all fours.
Like this?
Mm-hmm. He's going to come down on all fours, and he's gonna do what we call cat and cow. And so go ahead and just drop your head down and pull your belly up. There you go. And then on your next breath, you're going to lift your head up and let your back drop down. So go ahead and lift your head up. You can also lift your tail. That's perfect. Now exhale. You're going to do that. You're going to go back into cat as you exhale. Good. And then inhale, coming back into cow. That's awesome. And you can do that again. Exhale. And then inhale. Perfect. Back to cow. It's perfect. You'll see now that Chris's toes are curled under. So that's where we go when we're going to go into down dog. And a lot of times if your toes are tight, you can't get into down dog. So go ahead and point your feet behind you, Chris, so that the tops are on the ground. And even there, you can see his feet are a little bit tight. So if that happens to you, you can just take a towel rolled up. Go ahead and lift your feet up for a second. Take a towel rolled up and let your ankles get comfortable. So from there, he's going to come into what's called puppy pose. And puppy pose is just reaching your arms out in front of you and getting as long in your spine as you can and letting your ears pretty much go right in between your biceps. Good. So how's that feel?
Good.
Where are you stretching?
Nowhere.
Oh gosh. All right. Nice deep breath. Stay there. You'll know where you're stretching in a minute. So this one is called puppy pose. Armpits are lifted, elbows are lifted. You can even lift your wrists up a little bit. And where he's stretching is right here in his shoulders. So if you're working a lot on the computers, which most of us are, even if you're spending time on your phone or you're doing your job from home, this pose is super, super good for you. All right, fabulous. Come back to all fours, please. All right, curling your toes under with your right foot. Straighten your leg behind you. So straighten your right leg. And just keep your foot down on the ground, toes curled under, and reach through your heel. There you go. And that's a stretch. So he's slipping. So you could put your foot on your mat if you want. You can come up here so you're not slipping. There you go. Toes are curled under on the right foot. His arms are straight. Your head looks great. You're looking right at your fingertips exactly like you should. And hopefully he can feel this stretch happening in your calf. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so staying there for a little bit longer. See if you can reach your heel back further. So even, there you go. And you can feel that intensifies the stretch. Good, come back to all fours. And then go ahead and do the same thing on the second side. So reaching again through his heels, he's getting a nice stretch on his calf. He's also, oh, what's happening?
It's good.
He's also getting a stretch on his toes. Now, what do we do if we can't get down on the ground to stretch our calves out? You can take a towel and just wrap it around your toes and pull your toes towards you while you sit up nice and straight, and that'll stretch your calves out. Actually feels really good. All right, from there, back to all fours. Now you're gonna lift your left leg up behind you with a straight leg. Keep it straight. So keep your bum down, and you'll just keep your leg as high as your booty. Lift your belly up a little bit, and now go ahead and lift your right arm up also. So reach it out. This one's called bird dog. We have a bird dog over there sleeping under the table. And this one is good to help you stabilize in the center of your body. Perfect. Go back to all fours and change sides. So taking your right leg out, your left arm forward, lift your left arm up. That's good, honey. He's good at this.
Easy.
It's easy, he says. Okay, perfect. Don't challenge me. Good, back to all fours. All right, fabulous. From there, go ahead and slide your bum all the way down to your heels and let your nose just go down onto the ground. Good. And from there, let's just take some nice deep breaths into the back. Big full breath. So if you're filling up your kidneys like a frog, that's it. Maybe if you can, breathe through your nose. There you go. This is great because it stretches your back. It also compresses the knee joint. Now, a lot of times we don't bend the knee all completely, and so we get stiff there. Good. From there, go ahead and drop your elbows down. Now, this stretch is a little trickier, so, but it's a great way to stretch your shoulders. And then can you come up onto your toes if you keep your elbows down and lift your knees up off the ground? So curl your toes under. Okay, come down. Yeah, there you go. And then go ahead and straighten the legs as much as you can. Push into your arms. Straighten your legs. Good. Deep breath. That's good. So this is dolphin pose. He looks a little uncomfortable here. I'm going to have him drop back down onto your knees. Good. And then come back up onto your hands. All right. From there, curl your toes under. We're going to go to down dog. Everybody hears about down dog. Great way to stretch out your back, but also to give your body a nice long spine. Curling the toes under, lift your bum into the air. Knees will come up off the ground, down dog. Yes, perfect. Take your hands out a little tiny bit further forward. So Chris is in down dog. You can see that it's this nice long reversing gravity on his spine. Good. Bend your knees a tiny bit. And then see if you can lift your butt up a little higher. Yeah, that's good. And then you go get the stretch up here higher in your shoulders. If you're not on the ground, how do we do down dog? We just come and bring our hands to a chair and slide back. So I don't know if you can see me, but we just make that same shape. And then, of course, we just breathe. And then from there, let's go back down onto all fours. Perfect. Slide again back into child's pose, where you drop all the way back. Good. Take your bum all the way down to your heels. That's great. And then again, breathe. Nice. Really nice. All right. From there, let's go ahead and come up, and we're gonna take a seat on the chairs. So the chairs are super good for doing all of these stretches if you can't get down on the floor. We'll do a video later where we're doing them standing, but for everybody getting started, this is how I would really like you to begin. So the first thing we're gonna do is just straddle. So you're sitting on the edge of your chair. Make sure you have a sturdy chair. Just straddle your legs. Nice. Hi, Ive. And then bend your knees. Let's come back to bent knees, sorry. From there, we're going to just keep our back flat and we'll bow forward. So as we come forward, we just want to be really mindful of where we're stretching in our hips.
Ivy. Hit the road.
Chris is getting his face washed. Thank you, Ivy. You good girl. Good. Relax your head down. Can you feel that stretching your hips, honey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's getting a great stretch in your hips. You guys can do this from your chair. Perfect. And then from there we'll come back up. Nice. Next, hi, my turn. Next, bring your legs together. And you can take your right foot and place it up over your left knee. Now you can see that his foot is in the position as if he was stepping on it, which is exactly what you want to do. And this is a hip stretch. So I'm guessing right now he's already getting a nice stretch just having your foot up like that. Are you agreeing to that?
Yes.
So he's like the most obedient yoga student I've ever had. If you could just breathe into into the place that you feel your body resisting, and see if it softens. And usually it will. Usually the initial tension in the hip will soften. If it doesn't, you can bring the knee up a little bit higher. Okay, but he's getting a nice stretch right there. Yeah. If your hip's nice and open, you would then stretch forward. You would just come a little bit forward, and he can do that also. He can come forward, but he doesn't need to. He's already getting his stretch. Perfect. And then we'll come back and put your foot down, and we'll change sides. So just bringing that second foot up. Flex your foot like you're running on it. Good. And same thing here, so that you can see this hip's a little bit tighter on him, which is interesting because, all right, and then we'll go ahead and come forward. Take some deep breaths there, and then go ahead and come on out. Good. Place your hands on your knees. And I'm going to turn to the side. Chris will stay forward. We're going to do the same cat-cow exercise from our chair. So cat, we round the spine, tuck the chin to the chest. And then cow, we open the chest. You can look up a tiny bit if that feels good. This is a great stretch. You'll feel it in your back. Exhale. You want to round really slow. Tuck your tail towards your knees. Draw your belly back. Let your shoulders round. Chin drops down. And then inhale the other way around. Opposite. Open the shoulders up. Arch the back. You can even look up a tiny bit. All right, perfect. We'll do one more of those. Exhale all the way down. Perfect. All right. I'm going to stay seated and show you the next pose. Go ahead and come back up. Chris is actually going to stand up. So go ahead and stand up. Bring your feet all the way together. You're going to lift your hands up, and we're going to grab onto our left wrist, and we're just going to stretch to the right. Now, as we're here in the chair, if we stretch to the right, you're going to feel this nice opening in through your rib cage. And, you know, all of the stretches I'm giving you guys today are super good for our lungs. They're super good for keeping our bodies healthy during this time. Good. Come back to center, and we'll go to the other side. Exhaling. Peptide bomb by fly. Perfect. And back to center. Yeah, so in this one, Chris, just go ahead and keep your legs straight as you stretch over. Don't worry about going so far. I want you just to feel it here. You might have to push this hip out a tiny bit towards my hand. No, go the other way. Here you go. There you go. And then breathe into this space. Yeah, and then back up. And change sides. Go to the other side. So this is one of the stretches that, I feel like if you were to do 5 or 6 stretches every day, this is one of them that all of us should be doing. Good, come back to center. Now we're going to do a forward bend. Chris is going to do it standing. I'm going to do it seated in this chair. If you turn to face those blocks, Chris. So when you do a forward bend, we're going to lift both of our arms up, all the way up. Lift your arms up over your head. Go ahead and reach them together. So squeeze those arms together. That's a nice stretch through your shoulders. Lift your fingers up. And then exhale, you're going to bow forward. And just round your spine. You can bring your hands right down to the earth. Let the knees be bent. I'm going to go to Chris now. His hands are going to go towards the ground. Now, he's not going to touch the ground because his hammies are sort of tight. So this is where you would use blocks. So go ahead and just place your hands on those blocks. If you don't have any blocks, you can just place your hands on your chair. Okay, you feeling that one, huh? Yeah, bend your knees a little bit more. Don't make it so tough. So the thing about doing a forward bend is you can totally get as much stretch with bent knees. Nope, keep your hands on the block. Don't try to. So he just showed you what you don't want to do. We don't need to touch the ground. There's nothing there.
If you keep your hands on something, the hamstrings actually start to relax. If you just dangle your arms, the hamstrings panic because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm holding up this whole game. Bend your knees a lot now, like you're going to sit down in a chair, and then lift your arms up, but keep your butt down. So go ahead and lift your arms up now. This one, but keep your butt down. Lift your arms up. So this is called chair pose. It's going to look like this. We're going to come from here, slide our hands onto our knees, flat back. And then from there, stand up, push into your feet and rise. We're going to lift our arms all the way up again. Reach up, perfect. Exhale, go back to your blocks. Forward bend, so we're going to go back down. I'm coming back to the chair. We just bow forward, bow forward. When you're in the chair, you're going to let your belly sit on your thighs. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, tuck your chin to your chest. As you inhale, you can lift your chin up. Good. Bend your knees a little bit more. Good. Exhale. Tuck your chin to your chest. Perfect. And then to come out, he's going to drop down like he's sitting in a chair. Flat. Bring his back up so your heart comes up first. Keep your legs there. Lift your arms up. And come all the way to stand. Reach up with those arms. Fabulous. That was awesome. And then hands are going to come back to your heart. Good. And then just bring your hands down by your side. Feel your breath. All right. Go ahead and have a seat again. We're going to do another pose seated. So this is probably one of the super, super important poses that we can do to keep us well. And it's a twist. So how we do it in a chair is sort of cool. I'm going to turn to the side. Chris is going to do it facing forward. But when we do it, whenever you do a twist, you want your spine to stay really long. Otherwise, it can compress the discs and not feel good. So sit up nice and tall. I'm just going to reach my hand back. So it might just touch the side of my chair. It might touch the back of my chair. But let's just go for the side of your chair. Right hand's going to go for the side of your chair. Left hand is going to go right there on your knee, on your right knee. Left hand's going to go on your right knee. There you go. So then we start to turn our belly button towards our right hand and your rib cage towards your right hand. Your shoulder turns to the right. And then the last thing to turn to the right is your head. Nice full deep breath. Fabulous. We'll take, as we breathe in, we sit up really nice and tall. And we just exhale. Stay in the twist. Good. On the next breath, inhale. And exhale, we'll come back to center. When you come out of a twist, you always want to just sit forward for a second. Your body will take a natural breath, and you want to let it have that breath. How'd that feel?
Good.
Oh my gosh. All right, left hand, reach it back for your chair. Right hand's going to come to the outer edge of your left knee. And again, you'll turn your belly first. Keep your spine nice and long. Good. Belly turns, then ribs turn, then shoulders turn, then head turns. And you want to keep the spine straight. Don't overturn. How do you know that you've gone too far in a pose? It's hard to get a full breath. So can you take a full breath? Yeah? Let me see. Exhale all the way. Okay, so that was awesome. Other than he took the breath through his mouth. I'm going to see if we can take it through his nose. Take a deep breath in. And exhale all the way. All right, perfect. One more inhalation. And then as you exhale, you can come back to center. Bring your body back. And then just sit there for a moment again and take a breath. Good job. Really good job. All right. This next pose, I'm going to have Chris do lying down on the ground. I'm going to do it in the chair so you guys can see what we're doing. And this one's called eagle pose. So lay down on your back. Oh, blocks. We'll move those. Okay, so this one is, it's to stretch your shoulders out. So open your arms out to the side. Good, and then you're just gonna take your right elbow over your left elbow, right out in front of your chest. And then bend your arms. Now, maybe your hands can go together. If you look at Chris, his hands are not going together. So he's gonna take his hands to his shoulders. There we go. Now this is beautiful because you get this big stretch right in that tight spot in the middle of your back. If you're on your chair, you can be seated like this, or your hands can be up like this. I'm going to have Chris bend his knees also. Take your feet up off the ground, and then take your right leg over your left leg. Good. And he's just going to hold like that. Now, what this does is it also helps to tone the belly. If we're seated, we're just going to take our right leg over left. So whatever arm is on top, you do the opposite leg. He's got them the same, but it doesn't matter. So can you feel that in your belly?
Yeah.
Okay. If it feels too intense, you can pull your knees a little closer to you. There you go. That's probably better. And you want to make sure that you can maintain your breath. So this one's seated, we're just crossed, arms are crossed, and we're getting some nice, deep, deep breath. Excuse me. All right, inhale, go ahead and open your arms and cross your legs. Put everything back down on the earth and change sides. So your left arm's gonna go on top. So you did left over left, so go ahead and take your hands to your shoulders. Good, bring your knees up. Good, cross your left leg over the top of your right leg. Good, wrap them all the way up. And we're back here to where we're breathing. And this is a great hip stretch. It's also a great shoulder and back opener. This pose is called eagle pose. It's normally done arms out to the side. Perfect. Draw your knees into your chest. Good. Cross your left leg over your right leg. And then your left arm over your right arm. Good. Take your fingertips to your shoulders. Good, and then just breathe. Good, nice deep breath. So again, can you feel that in your belly?
Yes.
Okay. If you can't feel it in your belly, he's just going to bring his knees a little bit further this way. Good, we'll take one more deep breath there. And then exhale, go ahead and release. Put your feet down on the ground and open your arms out to the side. Good. Okay, bring your hands down by your hips. The next pose he's going to do is called bridge pose. Take your feet in a little closer to your hands, just a little bit closer. There you go. And then you're going to inhale, lift your hips up. Nice. Yeah, so he naturally walked his feet in a little bit closer. If you can't get down on the floor, a nice back bend you can do is just sitting on the chair and have your hands behind you. Elbows can be bent or straight. Roll your shoulders up and back, and then lift your heart up. And again, you just want to feel your breath. And then on the next exhalation, Chris, you're going to lower yourself down one vertebrae at a time. Don't let your butt touch down until the rest of you gets down there. Nice. Good, and then you'll just pause for a second when you come out of your back bend. And we'll take another deep breath in and go ahead and lift up. And breathe. And then exhale, go ahead and lower back down. Nice. Just pause. And then draw your right knee into your chest, give it a squeeze. Reach up with your hands and grab onto it. Squeeze it into your chest really nicely. And then you're going to do the same thing. You put your right leg down. Yeah, so he's rolling his nose up. You can do that seated in a chair also. You can round down. And then go ahead and put your right knee down. And we'll do our left leg, one leg at a time. Roll the nose up to the knee. If you can't get your knee pulled up there all the way, it doesn't matter. Just get it up as high as you can. And again, we're just going to round the spine down. And then I'm going to have Chris do both legs at once. Go ahead and pull both of your knees up. grab onto your ankles, and as you exhale, roll your nose to your knees. And lay back down. And one more time, exhaling, rolling your nose to your knees. Perfect. And lay back down. Nice. So lastly, we just take a little rest and do a little bit of breathing. So you can straighten your legs out to the end of your mat. Take your hands down by your hips. I'm getting a little towel for Chris's head because his forehead's slightly lower than his chin. There, perfect. And we'll just take one hand onto our belly and one hand onto our chest. You could do the same, actually. And when we breathe in, we want to feel the belly extend. And then as you exhale, the belly will contract. And again, breathe in through your nose, let the belly extend. And exhale, contract. And one more time, breathing in. And exhale. And then just let your hands come down onto the earth. Palms can go up. If you're seated in a chair, just let your hands be on your lap. Sit up nice and tall, feet on the ground. We just close our eyes and allow ourselves to relax for a moment. So breathing completely as you relax. Go ahead and bring our attention back into our body. Chris is going to go ahead and roll onto his side. You could also stay there and take a nap if you want. Such a dork. All right, thank you. Namaste. Thanks, Chris. High five.
Okay.